My channel. So in this video, we will be looking at the different visuals and charts that are there in Power BI. So this would be a series of sessions. So in the first video, we will be looking at the overview of different visuals that we have in Power BI desktop. And we'll also look at the basic charts, that is the bar chart and the line charts. Okay, so here, as you can see here, the moment you connected to a data set and you log into Power BI desktop, right? So you see there are three different panels towards the right hand side. So the first panel being the filters pane, and where you can do the filtering on the data that you brought into Power BI. And then we have the visualizations pane where you can see the list of all default visuals or charts that have been provided from Power BI. So today we will be looking at the basic charts, and in the next videos we will be looking at the other charts as well. So here I've just made a note of all the visuals that currently Power BI has, and we will look through each of these charts in detail and understand when to use which chart for which particular data set and how do we analyze the data. Alright, so let's get started. So the first chart that we are going to discuss is about the bar charts. So in Power BI specifically, we have different types of bar charts. So as you can see here, so this is a stacked bar chart, and then we have this clustered bar chart, and we also have a clustered column chart. So we have the bar chart in a stacked format and also in a columnar structure. So we will look through these charts one by one. So I'll create a new page here, and I've connected to the data set related to Adventure Works. So you can also download this data. So I will share the data set in the description so that you can use this data set as you follow the video. Okay, and I've connected to different tables within that particular data set, like customer, product, sales, and territory. Now, I would like to do an analysis on the customer information along with the sales data. Okay, so I'm interested to look at the region wise, country region wise, the total sales value, or probably I'll check at the unit price. Okay, so let's see with that example. So I will use this basic stack column chart. So I'll just select this visual from my visualizations pane, and now I will try to bring in the fields that I would like to use on this particular visual. Okay, so for that, in below this visualizations pane, you see some options like access, legend, values. So we would have to use either of these three values or either of these three options to make this data being populated in a columnar structure. Okay, so I will bring in this country region onto my axis, and I'd like to evaluate my total sales being spread across that country region value. Okay, so now as you see here, we have this data being distributed across the different countries with respect to their corresponding sales amount. Okay, so this is a very basic bar chart as you see here, and this is a column bar chart. So now let's understand when do we use a bar chart. Okay, so bar charts are specifically important if we have to make any categorical analysis. So categorical is nothing but if we have to make an analysis based on a dimension value. So dimension is nothing but the data that you have in which particular based on which particular data you would like to evaluate it, right? So for example here, you are trying to analyze how your sales has been performing spread across different countries, right? So that you understand which country has got the highest sales amount and which country has got the lowest sales amount. So based on this analysis, you would be able to make a better decision to understand why the specific country is not performing well in terms of sales, or probably why the specific country is holding a highest amount of sales amount, so that you can try to uh, progress your business in the other regions where the sales is not growing as expected. Okay, so this is specifically important when you have relatively more data within that particular columns and you'd like to do some categorical analysis. The bar chart would be the best fit to such scenarios. Okay, so now this is a very basic chart, and if you observe here, Next to this option, there is an option for formatting. So you can just go to this formatting your visual, and you can do a lot of formatting options enabled on this particular visual. So let's quickly go through what are the different options that you can apply for the formatting part. So before we run through these options, I'll have to explain you like what is meant by an axis, like an x-axis and a y-axis. Okay, so the values that are spread across the horizontal manner is referred to as the x-axis. Okay, so like this, and the values that are spread across the vertical manner, that is the columnar way, that is referred to as the y-axis. So in this case, the sales amount is the y-axis, and the country region field is the x-axis. Okay, and if you see within the formatting option, the first option, which is x-axis label, is been turned on, and also the y-axis label is being turned on. So you can just expand this to understand what are the different options that have been provided here. So you can also customize the range of values that have been listed on that particular axis. Okay, and you can also do some conditional formatting, which we've already covered during our conditional formatting topic. So if you need, I will drop that link to that particular video so that you can revise to that topic again. Then below that, we also have this values. So if you'd like to increase the font size of that particular X or Y axis labels, you can just come to this values section within the corresponding axis, and you can try to increase the font. So as you see, I'm doing it within the Y axis section, and therefore the Y axis values are being increased. Okay, and you can also change the color of that font as per your requirement. And there are several options as such, so you can also change the display unit. So currently it is with the auto, but if you wish, you can change that to a specific unit. Okay, so these are the different options within your x and y axis. Now below that, you also have another option for adding a grid lines to this particular visual. So you can just select however you would like to have. So currently, if you notice, it's a very lighter shade of dotted lines. So if you observe, there are some dotted lines across the x-axis, like parallel to the x-axis. So that is the horizontal grid lines. Okay, so if you wish to customize this option as well, you can come to this grid lines option, and within that you have to see the horizontal part of it, and then you can change that particular formatting option. So if you wish, you'd like to have a dashed one or probably a solid, so maybe I'll just change the color so that it's easier for you to observe the changes. Maybe, so it's a very lighter color. So yeah, see, the moment I made this as a solid, you observe that there are horizontal lines. These are the grid lines being displayed on your visual. Okay, so this is how you can uh, make some changes to your respective visual, like in terms of formatting. And then we also have this zoom slider, the columns. So columns again, where you can see the default color is taken as blue, but if you wish to change this to a different color, you can always come to this particular formatting option and choose a relevant color that is of interest. Okay, so sometimes when you work with such visualization, you might need to consider your own company standard colors, right? So there would be, for every organization, there would be some standard colors being provided from the company corporate team, design team. So you can refer to that particular corporate design template and try to use those colors within your visuals, so that it would make some impact when you present it to the top level management. Okay, so this is how you can come back here and change the colors as per your requirement. And there is also an option for spacing, which is the inner padding and the how much a gap should be there within that particular visual, right, from bar to bar and all. So you can format that particular section as well. And then we also have the data labels. So the data labels is currently being off, but if you enable this, you can see that the values corresponding to those bars have been highlighted. So it has been displayed on top of the bar chart so that it's easier for you to make a quicker analysis to understand how much sales do that particular country hold, right? So this is also an important like aspect to consider when you work with any such reporting part, but it's not always recommended. But based on how you like to present it and what your data is all about, you can try to check on this data labels option. Okay. And there are some other formatting options as well within the data label. So if you see, the orientation could also be adjusted according to uh, the value being populated, right? So sometimes there could be a lengthier data label which is not fitting within that particular space. So in that case, you might need to little orient that particular direction, right? So in that way, you can just use this to vertical. See, so that is about the orientation. And you can also change the background color. So for example, if you enable this background, so you see the highlighting of that particular label has been changed, like there is a background color being added to that particular data label. So which is not like mandate, but you can just try it out to see like how that elevates the presentation of your corresponding visual. And then you also have this plot area background, so which is basically like for this particular visual, if you'd like to add some background, right, you can always come to this section and add that particular background as per your requirement. So here you can just choose some image if needed, or something that would be relevant for your data visualization, you can bring in from this particular area. Okay, so these are like the different formatting options, and you can also go to the general formatting options, so which is basically about highlighting us. So the first one is referring to the visual specifically, but the general is something which would help us to look at the size and height, like in terms of the height and width of this particular visual if you'd like to change it, and also the position of that particular visual. So there are several options to elevate that particular visual. And you can also go to this effects where you can add a background color to this respective visual, like probably if I add a gray, so this is how it would be changed, right? So you can always come to this section to highlight, or probably if you like to add a border to this particular visual. So I've enabled this option. Now you can see that there is a border being added up, right? So these are the different ways how you can try to look at the formatting options, and try to highlight your specific report to present it in the better way to your corresponding audience. So this is all about the basic bar chart in Power BI. So I hope you understood this topic. So in the next video, we will be looking at the other charts that are available in Power BI. So that's it. Thank you.